Hello mountain chums, me again today. Today, on an amazingly beautiful autumn morning, it's the end of November 2023, we're heading out to do a circuit of the mighty Haweswater. And in doing so, inevitably, we'll have a little chat about some of the history. It was pelting down with rain last night, and you can tell from the squelching underfoot, but today it is beautiful. Bright blue skies, little smattering of clouds on the hilltops, but we're not going particularly high today. We're just going to follow the footpath that by and large follows the edge of the lake. Or is it a lake? Well, it's not a lake, it's a reservoir. It was a lake originally, way before it was dammed in 1935. There are, of course, many excellent films on YouTube of Haweswater, in particular what it looks like when the water level is low and the hidden buildings and roads re-emerge. But today I'm not expecting the water level to be particularly low, not least because, as I say, it was pelting down with rain last night. We're going anti-clockwise around the reservoir today, Widdershins if you prefer. Although there's no particular rule that says you have to do it in either direction. Oh, beautiful, beautiful day. And the birds and the heather. We are very lucky. You can just see the dam there, peeking out from behind the trees. The world's first hollow buttress dam. The damming of the Mardale Valley was granted by private act of Parliament in the Manchester Corporation Act of 1919. And, as is pretty famous by now, it was not enormously well received. Not least because it meant the eviction of a number of houses up and down the valley, including schools, church, parsonage, and famously the Dunbull Inn. Oh my word, this is so stunning. The full circuit of the lake is a little over 10 miles and about 1,500 feet of ascent and descent, so nothing too strenuous today. Should take about 4.5 to 5 hours. We've overlooked Haweswater several times on our walks. For example, from the Kentmere Horseshoe, you can see down into Haweswater, and also from High Street, Kidsty Pike. As well as my current OS map, I've also got a copy of the OS map from 1899. So we should be able to see, certainly on the map, the remnants of what has been drowned. Originally, Haweswater was almost divided in two by the straits. It was divided into high water and low water. And to the left now is what would have been low water. It's very splashy today. And after the downpour last night, I'm not remotely surprised. That is a mighty gate. I think this is probably the right way to do it, certainly in the winter. We get all the sun. It's quite dark over on the other side of the lake. Up to the right there are Misan Falls, and they are stunning. The big gates along here have been designed apparently to protect native trees against deer, which is a good thing. Now we've moved around the lake a little bit, I can see the Haweswater Hotel, which is an amazing Art Deco building, and supposedly the only hotel in the country created by Act of Parliament. A shower of pine needles. I wish I knew trees. I'm going to call them spruces, and that may be wrong. Oh, hello. I see cloud on the top of the hills. Good day not to be on the top of the hills, I think. Oh, bring on the sun. It's middle of November. Originally, of course, there was a road that went up the valley. That was destroyed when the flood came. We're approaching level with the water tower, and that was roughly the high water mark of Haweswater as it used to be. A very corporation waterboard fence along here to keep you on the straight and narrow. The sun is quite low, but that's only because it's the middle of November. I think we've got another 4 hours of daylight or so, which should see us through. Directly ahead, with the rather cinematic sun behind it, It's Castle Crag. Apparently there's a fort on the top of it, but I am not going to see it today. This brings us down beside Speaking Crag, and from there we'll head round to Gate Crag and the ruins of Riggindale, which sounds quite Lord of the Ringsy. Work to raise the height of the original lake began in 1929 and it was completed in 1935. It raised the water level by 29 metres or 95 feet and created a reservoir 3.7 miles long and up to 2,000 feet across at its widest point. When it's full, it holds 84 billion litres of water. For you Old Norse fans, and you know who you are, the name Haweswater apparently comes from the Old Norse, or Old English, meaning Hafir's Lake. I met an Old Norse the other day. I said, why the long face? Why the long face? The valley up ahead is Riggindale, which until about 2015 was home to England's last golden eagle. On old OS maps, Riggindale is actually the name of the farm, and down by the water's edge you can still see its ruined walls. On the OS map, the footpath goes round to the left here for the end of the rig, but actually we're going to take this route off to the right and head on round to Mardale Head, the top of the valley. The path back from here should be faster because it follows the inner curve of the lake and, you know, trigonometry or something. It's not my area. Here we cross over Mardale Beck, a little stream fed from two tarns higher up in the hills, Bleewater and Smallwater. Off on the left there is Heart of Fell, which leads round to Kentmere Pike, part of the Kentmere Horseshoe. Now then, I had planned on taking the footpath that, according to the map, is parallel with the road, but United Utilities inform me that it is not safe, and who am I to argue with United Utilities? So, instead, I'll be heading back along the road, which is not necessarily a bad thing, and it might be a little bit quicker. We still get the views. We may have a slightly more even path underfoot, and having twisted my ankle again, I am all in favour of that. Although the water level is high, you can still make out the road that heads down into the valley, or going the other way up out of it. In a little bit we'll pass where the Dun Bull is. We'll see if we can see anything. We will not be able to see anything. There's not much sign of Mardale Green today, although you can see beside the road the ancient walls. And I say ancient because when I was looking at the old map, it overlays onto the modern map really well, and one of the key things that lines up in most of the places is the walls. This is on a map from 1889, but the walls remain. Don't know for how much longer. They are crumbling in places, and I suppose there's not a great deal of reason to keep them up. By my estimate, the Dun Bull is somewhere down there, just between the gate and Wood Howe. From here you can see across to the massive quarry. I suppose one of 3 or 4 massive quarries around here, which is again one of the reasons for putting a reservoir here. But it is astonishingly big. Also lying under the water between the Rig and Wood Howe are the remains of Holy Trinity Church. The church was taken down piece by piece, and its windows and walls were used to create the water tower, which we'll come on to in a little bit. Holy Trinity Church was very small in the grand scheme of things, and in its final service it was too small to hold all the people who'd come to pay their respects. It would of course be remiss of me not to mention this area's particular legacy in cinema. For you Withnail aficionados, somewhere around here is where Withnail bellowed, "I'll show the lot of you! I'm going to be a star!" Come on lads, the sky's beginning to bruise and we shall be forced to camp. Through that gate and down those stairs you get to the water tower made of the old church, and you really can see the shape of the old church in the stones. Just coming up to the Haweswater Hotel, the successor to the Dun Bull Inn. Apparently it's very fancy now. It was very fancy when it was built. Sadly, we don't have time today to pop in for something warming or medicinal. Some other time, perhaps. I always think it must have been strange for the proprietor of the Dun Bull Inn to be presented with this fancy new hotel, but no neighbours anymore. All their friends, all their usual customers gone. Just in case the light beats me, this road takes us down to the dam. We'll carry on a little way and then turn left and then cut through the wood using the footpath back to the car park. I think that's about it from me for today. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are. If you've enjoyed this, do please like and subscribe, and join us another time, hopefully for another walk in the lakes. Stay safe. Just peeking out from behind the trees there is the dam itself. The world's first hollow something buttress dam. What is it? I should know this. I've looked this up. I've done some work. And off in the left, and off to the left in the waterway. Not that way. Not that way.